What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to bring you the top 5 things I dislike about my 16-inch. This is the M1 base model MacBook Pro 16-inch, $24.99. So I'm gonna try to make this video as quick as possible, but these are the top 5 things I dislike about this thing. I already mentioned the price. That's gonna be the first thing. $24.99 seems a little ridiculous for what you get. 256 MB SD hard drive, 16 gigabytes RAM, 10 core CPU, 16 core GPU. But my ThinkPad P1 Gen 2 had similar specs and it was about $1,000. So the price point on these things is really high. You pay that Apple tax through the tooth and nail for this thing, especially when you jump up and start configuring it, which I'll get into that when I talk about my other dislikes about that thing. It's gonna be the first thing. $24.99 for the base model. They don't have any in the refurbished in Apple's outlet yet, so you can't get a little discount there. You see them discounted every once in a while at Micro Center, Best Buy, B&H, things like that, but I bought mine through Apple fairly shortly after the release date, so you're gonna pay premium for it, and you're gonna pay it even more premium if you get Apple Care, which I got, so you're talking about $3,000 for a laptop. But this is my laptop desktop, so it has saved me a little bit of money there. So the second thing I dislike about this thing is probably going to be the glossy display. So the display on this thing is super glossy. I would prefer a matte finish, but that is not an option. I feel like I wipe this thing off just about every day. You can kind of see it is super prone to reflections, especially if you get it into the sunlight, which we can see there. You can probably see all kinds of reflections on the screen, but the screen is gorgeous, but I would prefer a matte option. I would pay a couple $100 more to get a matte option just because it is it's almost unusable when you get in the sun or outside, which I probably will use this outside, especially when it starts getting warmer in the springtime. I use my ThinkPad outside all the time, but that's one of the negatives there. The third thing I dislike about this computer, I'm not a big fan of the Mac OS just file system in general, in the Finder, just how everything operates there with trying to just find files. It just seems a little cumbersome with that and iCloud. Maybe I'm not used to it because I came from Windows, but I think that that's a little bit of a, I don't know, it's just trying to find a file. Like I downloaded some photos off my Google photo drive and I couldn't find them anywhere. There's like 3 different download sections. When I search through Finder, it's just a very odd overall system. So the fourth thing I dislike about this thing is you get what you get. There's no maintenance, no upgradability. I don't ever plan on taking this back panel off and upgrading anything on there. I may get Apple to replace the battery. I probably will keep this for 5+ years, so at some point I'll probably look into getting the battery replaced, but this is basically you order what you get. So if you want something, you better make sure you get it when you order. And that's gonna get to my number 4 thing that I dislike about this thing, is how expensive it is if you want to upgrade anything. I would have loved 32 gigabytes of memory, but there's no way I'm paying the tax for that thing, for how much they charge for it. It's an outstanding amount of price. So I had to stick with 16 because I didn't want a $3,500 system by the time you add that and everything else it adds. It's just a very, very expensive upgrade if you want to upgrade any of this. The hard drive I didn't care about. I have my own NAS. So I didn't have any issue there, but that's probably going to be the fourth thing that I really dislike, is if you really need more storage, a terabyte, or you need more RAM, or anything like that, it's going to cost you a small penny. So that's another annoying thing. And I find out that I'm starting to find difficulty finding a fifth thing for this thing, but I'm going to just go back to the design of this thing. While I think it is excellent, it is pretty fingerprint prone. I don't know if I can get some of the fingerprints on there, but it does get fairly gross after time. It wipes off pretty easily, but I feel like my X1 Yoga that I had previously was pretty nice at keeping clean, but this thing seems to pick up a lot of stuff on it. it wipes off fairly easily. That's a very nitpicky thing. I'm having difficulty finding top 5 things that I dislike about this, but that's going to be one of them, is that it's just, you constantly, between that and the screen, you constantly are wiping it off and trying to keep it clean because it looks so good when it's nice and clean. I know that's kind of a silly thing to say, but it really is a good looking machine. Another small thing, maybe number 6, is there's no Ethernet port. That's more of a personal preference thing. I would love to have an Ethernet port on this thing. I know you can get a dongle for it, have an Anchor one that works with USB-C, but an Ethernet port would have really been nice on this thing. Or a display port versus HDMI. I know where the HDMI is there, but I only used display port in the past, so I have a HDMI or a USB-C to DisplayPort adapter that I use that luckily I had, but I would prefer that over anything else. But that's it. That's the top 5 things I dislike about this thing. There's not very many nitpicks about this besides the cost and the glossy screen. Those are my 2 top things that I dislike about it. But that's it. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below. Is this under 5 minutes? Oh my god, I'm at 6 minutes. I try to keep it under 5. Sorry guys. See you guys next time and have a good rest of the day, week, and whatever is out there. See ya.